Russia is sounding the alarm over a growing military buildup in the Arctic. Moscow says it is seriously concerned by the arrival of NATO forces in Greenland, a vast, mineral-rich island that US President Donald Trump has openly said he wants under American control. France, Germany, Sweden, and Norway have now confirmed deployments to Greenland's capital, Nuuk, as part of a reconnaissance mission coordinated with Denmark.
This is perhaps going to be a more permanent thing and security-wise for Greenland that not only consists of Denmark securing Greenland and knowing what's happening around Greenland, but it's probably going more towards that it's NATO responsibility. Right now with this operation, we're seeing there is a quite emphasis that says it is for training purposes and it's not necessarily for already trained personnel. So it is fairly new. It is mostly symbolic, but it could have larger consequences for the security of Greenland in the long term. We're not going to sell our country just to let it be owned by another country, but we are open to discussions. We are open and willing to see what is it exactly we can participate in order to make sure that you guys are safe and secure as well. We actually tried to negotiate with Denmark for a free association agreement. We tried to discuss with Denmark to make sure that we can have more foreign policy say. We have tried to discuss with Denmark some of the wrongdoings of history so we can fix them. All of these are only being listened to because of the pressure we're experiencing from the United States. So there's also some good that can come with it.
The move comes just days after talks in Washington between US, Danish, and Greenlandic officials failed to cool tensions over the island's future.
Even though we wasn't so successful that we reached, a conclusion where our American colleagues said, "Oh, sorry, it was a totally misunderstanding. We give up on our ambitions." There's clearly a disagreement. We agreed that it makes sense to try to sit down on a high level to explore whether there is possibilities to accommodate the concerns of the president, while we at the same time respect the red lines of the Kingdom of Denmark. So this is the work we will start. Whether that is doable, I don't know. I hope, and I would like to express that it could take, down the temperature. It is not a true narrative that we have, Chinese warships all around the place. According to our intelligence, we haven't had a Chinese warship in Greenland for a decade or so. So, from that perspective, it was a very constructive meeting. As I said, frank discussion among equal partners, and now at least we have to give it a try. Do you want to add anything?
No, I think it's very important to say it again, that how important it is from our side to strengthen our cooperation with the United States. But that doesn't mean that we want to be owned by the United States. But as allies, how we can strengthen our cooperation, it's all our interest.
Trump has repeatedly argued Greenland is vital to US national security, warning that if Washington does not secure control, China or Russia will.
I have not heard that.
Mr. President, on NATO, right now it sounds like you are saying that you would potentially acquire Greenland by force. That would be a NATO country. The United. Are you saying that?
No,
would you do that?
No, you're saying that.
Would you acquire
I didn't
it by
say
force?
it. No,
right
you're
now?
telling me that that's what I'm going to do. You don't know what I'm going to do.
So what are the options?
Your network doesn't know either.
The Danish foreign minister said that there's still fundamental differences after the meeting with Rubio and with the vice president. Are you willing to leave the NATO alliance in order to get what you want with Greenland? What are the options right now?
Well, I wouldn't be telling you what I'm willing to do, certainly. I'm not going to give up options, but it's very important. Greenland is very important for the national security, including of Denmark. And the problem is, there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland. But there's everything we can do. You found that out last week with Venezuela. There's everything we can do about things such as that. Not going to happen. we're not, I can't rely on Denmark being able to fend themselves off. They were talking about they put an extra dog, and they were serious about this. They put an extra dog sled there last month. They added a second dog sled. That's not going to do the trick.
Russia flatly rejects that claim. In a statement issued from Brussels, where NATO is headquartered, Russia's embassy said the situation unfolding in the high Arctic is of serious concern. It accused NATO of building up military forces under what it called a false pretext of threats from Moscow and Beijing. According to Russia, NATO is using Greenland to fuel what it described as an artificial sense of hysteria, part of a wider push to militarize the Arctic. Moscow says talk of Russian or Chinese threats to Greenland is a myth designed to justify escalation and confrontation in the far north. The Russian embassy argued that even Western diplomats with access to NATO intelligence have acknowledged there have been no sightings of Russian or Chinese submarines near Greenland in recent years. Russia has not directly criticized Trump, who remains a key interlocutor for Moscow on Ukraine. Instead, it is directing its fire at NATO and at European allies now backing Denmark with boots on the ground. Both Russia and NATO have expanded their Arctic military presence in recent years, as melting sea ice opens new shipping routes and access to natural resources. But Russia is warning that the pace and tone of NATO's moves risk destabilizing one of the world's most sensitive regions. Russia says escalating confrontation in the Arctic is extremely dangerous and is calling for the high north to remain peaceful and stable. As troops deploy, alliances strain, and rhetoric hardens, Greenland is no longer just a remote Arctic outpost. It is fast becoming a new flashpoint in the global power struggle.